There are five initiatory gateways, and the one that I particularly like to talk about, which is the last gateway, is the Phoenix Gateway. So many of you may be familiar with what the Phoenix is. We often hear about the phrase Phoenix rising. What you may not know is that the Phoenix is actually a mythological bird. It really doesn't exist except for the creation of it in your own unique life. The Phoenix is that which actually recognizes all the things it has to let go of, and it ignites itself on fire. It actually literally ignites itself on fire. And from those ashes, it resurrects itself. It renews itself into a different being than it was when it ignited itself on fire. So let me just give you an example of what that meant in my own life, in that I had my Phoenix rising. And by the way, you may have many, many Phoenix risings in different parts of your life, different phases of your life. But in your third act, this is especially a very, very precious one, because this is the one that you really recognize. This is it. I'm living this final act of my life, and I am ready to take flight. So for me, the Phoenix rising happened basically after I went through menopause. And some of you can relate to this, I'm sure. And as I was going through this phase in my life, I was just over 50. I'm 60 now. And I was laid off. I basically broke up with my fiance, or a boyfriend then, or, we broke up with each other. And I was now facing paying the rent without a steady income. I was having a lot of problems with my family at the time, for reasons I won't quite go into right now, but it was a really, really dark time for me, that I was deeply, deeply, not to say fully depressed, not clinically depressed, but really feeling the shadow, really feeling like I'm so trapped. I don't know what to do. I don't know who to turn to. There was certain aspects of trust I had in my life, and it was really, really challenging part of my life. And yet and at this time, I didn't name it as the thresholds that I'm giving this to you now, but I really recognize what they are in our life now, which is why I want to share them with you. But back then, I really did take myself through the threshold so that I finally got to the Phoenix Gateway in my own life. And what I mean by that is that I was able to really embody and embolden what it meant to be in my feminine core, what it meant to be to ignite myself on fire, which is really consciously and intentionally letting go, really letting something alchemical happen in my life. And it's not just like a letting go process where I'm just like, blah, to all those bad things that happen in my life. It's really transmuting them. It's really, as you say, the alchemical process of turning it into something else, turning it into not only a blessing, but the blue flame in fire is really the truth. The blue flame in fire is where the truth lies. So in the Phoenix rising from the flame, you find that blue truth, the core of your truth as to what you want to live. And I did that in my life, where I felt deep in my heart where my longing is, where my vision is, who I am, despite what society might tell me as I'm growing older and I'm not employed and I don't have a partner and I don't have this money and all this other stuff. Who am I really? And I really felt that, the truth of that, because I let that all be transmuted into allies. All the negativity, I let it be transmuted into allies so that I really could take flight and that I can really face challenges head on and actually play with them. I actually kind of looked forward to these challenges because they were a new playground for me to explore my feminine wisdom, especially in my third act. It's like, how do I want to walk on this earth now? And I'm kind of curious now with all these new tools, with all the gateways that you'll get through. When you reach the Phoenix Gateway, you'll have all these tools to take flight, to really live the woman you want to be. And I was able to do that. I was able to manifest my beloved in my life. We're now married. I now live in a beautiful home in San Francisco with a gorgeous garden and a wonderful community and surrounded by nature. And it's just beautiful around here. And I now have a thriving practice, and because I followed my heart as to what I wanted to live. And it wasn't like strategic, it was really more intuitive. And that's the Phoenix Gateway will teach you how to be more intuitive and embodied so that you're confident in your intuition as to where you want to go and create your actions accordingly. And the Phoenix Gateway also allows you to face death. I hate to, that word has a negative connotation, but death as a notion of surrender. Death as the final letting go, so that there's nothing that holds you back anymore. That death can really be not an urgency of time that you have to face, but an urgency of your longing, a fervency of your yearning that you want to live, and you get to live that in the Phoenix Gateway.